Clear അല്ലേ സൗണ്ട്? Good afternoon. Anxiety and depression, an Ayurvedic perspective. Actually, today I'm a bit nervous and anxious since we are doing the Zoom from a new studio. As we all know that the COVID-19 pandemic associated with that, there is a dramatic increase in anxiety, suicidal tendencies, psychosis, depression, etc. Have a look at the slide picture. Are you familiar of this image? It's a famous painting by the great artist Vincent van Gogh. The artist painted this while he was staying at a mental asylum. It was actually Vincent van Gogh's fear of abandonment by his brother Theo, which ended him in the mental asylum. Bhaya or fear. We all, studied in the college that in the Sarvaroga Nidanam, that bhaya or fear, it causes imbalance of vata. We also studied that bhi causes jwara and adisara. See, today's crowd, we have a mixture of Ayurvedic doctors, Ayurvedic students, and we also have some general Ayurveda enthusiastics online. Therefore, I'm not sure, how far I will be able to do justice for a mixed crowd. Still, I will try to do my best. We were talking about fear. Are there anyone who doesn't have a fear? We all have some sort of fear. Some are afraid of spiders. Some are afraid of cockroaches. Some are afraid of snakes. Some are afraid of dark rooms. Some are afraid of Dracula swimming pools. And some are afraid of rejection. When you're afraid of rejection, when you're afraid of no, you will not ask for a help. You will not ask for a salary increase. You will not ask for a date. Some are afraid of authority. Some are afraid of meeting new people. Are we born with these fears? Actually, the study says that we are born with only two fears. One is the fear of fall and the fear of loud noise. And the rest of the fears we learn from people whom we trust. For example, our parents will say, never accept food from strangers. Now, every stranger is a suspect. Let me try to narrate an anxiety experience. Imagine that you are getting ready to go for a function or to go for an Ayurvedic seminar. You're truly excited. At the same time, there is a strange feeling inside you that as if like another heartbeat. You start thinking, whom will I talk to when I reach there? What if nobody wants to talk to me? What if others think that I'm weird? By the time you reach, for example, that seminar, somebody comes and start talking to you. When they start talking to you, your heart starts pounding, you start sweating, and you become nervous, and you feel, you are disassociating from yourself, as if like an out-of-the-body experience. And once the person leaves, you feel you are utterly defeated. Imagine that such a situation is happening to you or me or to the person who was in the scenario for several times consecutively. You or me or that person in that scenario is having an anxiety disorder. Can I see the slide in between? See, it is very important to differentiate an anxiety disorder from a general anxiety. General anxiety is something which happens to everyone at stressful situations. For example, you are facing a wild animal, for example. When you're facing a wild animal, you start running like crazy. Actually, this anxiety is required because it will save you from that wild animal. While generalized anxiety disorder is something different, and one start worrying excessively and constantly about everything around them, and they are unable to control this anxiety. The same way, having depression and feeling depressed also need to be differentiated. Everyone feels depressed time to time. For example, getting a low score in an examination, or losing a job, or an argument, or a rainy day. And sometimes out of the blue, you might feel a bit slow and sad. But after some time, the circumstances changes, you start smiling, and the sadness disappears, you start being happy. But clinical depression is something different. Clinical depression doesn't just go away as you want it to go away. It lingers for around 2 consecutive weeks. When you're looking at the similarities and dissimilarities of anxiety and depression, you can see an overlapping of the symptoms, like sleep problems, isolation, irritability, appetite problems, trouble concentrating, loss of interest, fatigue. There are similarity between the anxiety and depression symptoms. At the same time, there are some distinguishing features too. People with depression move very slowly. Usually their movement looks a bit flattened or a bit dulled. While people with anxiety have racing thoughts, and they are several times unable to control their racing thoughts. Presence of fear about the future is another specialty of anxiety. Worry or fear is not associated with depression. Suicidal thought is another symptom of depression. And more interestingly, a person might have both anxiety disorder and depression at the same time. Around half of the people with generalized anxiety disorder will also have some depression symptoms. Look at the different types of anxiety and depression. I'm not going to the details. When you look at the causes of anxiety, you can see that the traumatic events trigger anxiety disorders. Inherited traits also can be a factor. Anxiety disorder, it can be linked to an underlying health issues, and the side effects of certain medications can also result in anxiety. While we are examining the causes of depression, there are physical changes which are seen in the brain associated with depression, smaller frontal lobe, and reduced hippocampus volume is seen in patients of depression. Abnormal transmission or the depletion of neurotransmitters like norepinephrine or dopamine or serotonin. These are all seen in cases of depression. Blended circadian rhythm, high cortisol levels, hormone changes are seen in associated with depression. More women than men suffer from depression. And some types of depression are unique to females, like postpartum depression or premenstrual dysphoric disorders. See, the conventional treatment approach to anxiety and depression, they will basically give an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety medicine, or they might refer for a cognitive behavioral therapy. Clinical studies show some interesting results. Those who are on antidepressant medicines shows 50% reduction in the symptoms, while those on placebo also experience around 30 to 40% reduction in the symptoms. This shows that the psychological effect of taking medicine is something much more than what we understand about it. It's also seen that the cognitive behavioral therapy is as effective as the medication in cases of depression. And discontinuing the antidepressants or stopping it for a while might increase the symptoms in cases of depression. Now, look at the Ayurvedic perspective. Life, it is a conglomeration of 4 interdependent components, namely the body, the sensory and motor organs, the mind, and the soul. A healthy life, it necessitates a perfect complementary support of all these elements of life at the physical level, sensory level, mental level, and at the spiritual level. And Ayurveda says, Sukhadyupalapti sadhanam indriyam manaha. And Ayurveda beautifully explains the causes of mental disorders as Manasam punar ishtasya alabhat, labhescha anishtasya upajayate. That is, means it is considered as the cause of all the mental disorders. You also need to keep it in mind that happiness is nothing other than reality minus expectations. Now, the Ayurvedic concept of physical health, it revolves around the concept of the 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. These Vata, Pitta, Kapha, they are just names given to a set of qualities and to a set of functions. When you're comparing the qualities of Vata than that of Kapha, you can see that the qualities are more or less opposite to each other than the cold potency nature. And see, this Vata, Pitta, Kapha, they govern the entire functions in the body. Vata govern the principle of movement. So you breathe because of Vata, you nod your head because of Vata, lungs breathe, heart pump, muscles move, bowels move. All the movements in the body, it is governed by Vata and their subdivisions. Pitta governs the principle of transformations and digestion, metabolism, enzymatic changes, hormonal changes, etc. And Kapha governs functions like lubrication, growth, strength, courage, etc. So a human being has all the 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and they work in together and they work in harmony for every function. For example, you look at the physiology of eating food. Chewing, it's a movement which is done by Vata. Digestion by the saliva inside the mouth is done by Pitta. Lubrication of the food is done by Kapha. Swallowing is Vata. Digestion by the gastric enzyme is Pitta. protection of the stomach lining, regeneration of the mucous membrane. It's all done by kapha. So in any physiology, you can see that this vata, pitta, kapha, they work together. Once you master the concept of vata, pitta, kapha, you will be able to see vata, pitta, kapha in everything. So when this vata, pitta, kapha, they are working together, balanced and in harmony, it results in good health and perfect physiology of the individual. See, our acharyas, they have observed that though we all have vata, pitta, kapha, we possess them in different proportions. This accounts for our difference in appearance, behavioral pattern, emotional tendencies, likes, dislikes, etc. And swastha, you know the definition, swasmin tishtadi, swe tishtadi, swasmin tishtadi, it is swastha. So swastha means established in the self. So here, self here is the ego, not the Freudian theory of ego, but the individual identity which makes you yourself, which makes you different from him or her, is the ego, which Ayurveda call it like ahamkara. See, for example, you try to read your pulse. The normal pulse rate in an individual, it can be anything between 60 and 100. So below 60 is bradycardia. Anything above 100, it can be termed as tachycardia. So it's not only the difference in pulse rate. Our likes are different, dislikes are different, skin color is different, emotion is different, attitude is different. Therefore, Ayurveda says every individual is a unique manifestation of nature. Let's try to understand the different body types which are mentioned by Ayurveda. One is the Vata type, Pitta type, Kapha type, Vata Pitta type, Vata Kapha type, Pitta Kapha type, and Vata Pitta Kapha type. And every constitution is unique, and every constitution is good. For example, look at the features of a Vata body type. They are usually lean and thin, having dry skin, dry hair, etc. And very active people, very enthusiastic people. They like change. They like warm weather. They are very artistic in nature. They can be creative in nature. And sometimes they can be a bit fearful, worrisome, and anxious. The Vata body type of a person, it goes in line with anxiety disorders, or they are more prone to anxiety and depression. Now look at the Pitta body type, and a moderate physique. The skin is soft, lustrous, warm, and they perspire more, and they like cooler weather. And there are people having a lot of aggressive qualities like competition, ego, anger, pride, sharp anger. These are all characteristics of Pitta people. Pitta people, they align with agitated kind of depression. Now the third type is the Kapha body type. Kapha body type of a person, generally their BMI is on the higher side. Usually, even if they eat less, they tend to put on weight quick and fast. Very good intelligence, very stable people. These are the characteristics of Kapha body type. They are generally lazy. They always need a push from behind to get things done. The Kapha body type, they can be likely to get the sluggish kind of depression. But one thing, I would like to point out that anxiety or depression is a medical condition, same like diabetes or hypertension. Having anxiety or a depression, it shouldn't be mixed with one's body type. Now, look at the qualities of mind. Same like the body has Vata, Pitta, Kapha, the mind also has the three qualities, which is Sattvic, Rajasic, and the Tamasic qualities. And the Sattvic qualities, you know that Sattvigam, Chaujam, Astikyam, Shukla, Dharma, Rujirmadi. And when you're looking at the qualities of Rajasic and Tamasic, Rajasic, that of aggressive qualities, competition, pride, anger. These are the qualities of Rajasic mind. And that of Tamasic, it is fear, grief, sleepiness, laziness, ignorance, etc. And when you're looking at the doshas of the mind, we have studied that Rajas and Tamas are the doshas and mind together with Vata Pitta Kapha. So Rajas and Tamas are not just the two doshas of the mind. Mind has 5 doshas, which is Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Rajas, and Tamas. And when you're looking at the symptoms of anxiety and depression, you can see that anxiety disorders are more of Rajas predominant Tamas, and while depression symptoms are more of Tamas predominant over the Rajas. Now we have studied the concept of mental strength about the sattva. Ayurveda categorized the mental strength into 3, that is pravara, which is the superior, madhyama, the medium, and avara, or the inferior sattva. And out of this, the inferior sattva people, they are more prone to get anxiety and depression. Now, Ojas, I cannot skip the topic of Ojas and Sara while I'm talking about anxiety and depression. And we have studied that the Ojas bestows strength, stability, and the growth and ability to perform all the functions. And the perceptions of the sense organs is also associated with good Ojas. And Sara is defined as the state of excellence of all the tissues in the body. And Ojas is considered as the ultimate Sara, ultimate essence of all the body tissues. And we have seen, the factors which are adverse to Ojas. Ojakshiyeda dhyana shoga sramadibhi, right? That is excessive physical exertions, fasting for long period, constant worries. These are all factors which can affect the Ojas. And the psychological symptoms of weak Ojas, that is fear complex, constant worries, loss of complexion. These are all seen in both in anxiety and depression at the same time as a symptom of weak Ojas. See, we studied about the role of Vata Pitta Kapha in anxiety and depression. And the primary imbalance in both conditions, anxiety and depression, is the Vata dosha, because Vata is associated with erratic thoughts, worries, obsession, confusion, and difficulty in focus. And Vata imbalance can result in hyperexcitable nervous system and insomnia. Several times, one may feel that I feel ungrounded. It is a typical example of Vata imbalance. And in the case of anxiety and depression, there is an interplay between the Vata Pitta Kapha and the Rajas and the Tamas. Now look at the symptoms of depression. When you're looking at the symptoms of depression, you can see that most of the symptoms are either related to Vata Chaya or Vata Kopa, or related to Vata imbalance, or related to the Kapha imbalance. Look at all the symptoms. Let it be insomnia or hypersomnia, easy fatigability. All these are symptoms of Vata imbalance or Kapha imbalance. Now have a look at the symptoms of anxiety. When you're looking at the symptoms of anxiety, you can see that these are all symptoms of Vata Pitta imbalance rather than a Vata Kapha imbalance. You take it trembling, having trouble in sleeping. All these are Vata Pitta imbalances. So you can conclude that depression is more of a Vata Kapha imbalance disease, while anxiety is more of a Vata Pitta imbalance condition. Now, the Ayurvedic approach to anxiety and depression, we have studied that the treatment according to Ayurveda is based on the symptoms and based on the body type. Ayurveda have the Yukti Vipasraya Chikitsa, or the rational use of medicines and therapies. And we have Sattvavajaya Chikitsa, which is similar to the psychotherapy. And we have the Deva Vipasraya Chikitsa, which is the spiritual therapy. And Ayurveda, it is not a science which deals only with the treatment of some diseases, or it is not just about giving some medicines or therapies. Ayurveda teaches how to live in sync and in harmony with the nature. See, yesterday I had a patient who said, who proudly said, I go to bed at 4 a.m. and I ensure that I sleep for 6 to 7 hours and I wake up at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. We know that, look at 4 o'clock flower. They open, exactly at 4 p.m. And most of the plants, they open the leaves in the morning by around 10 a.m. and they close the leaves by the sunset. If a plant decides that I don't want to follow this rule, I will open my leaves, by sunset, this plant will die. Human, if we do not follow the biological clock, we may not die immediately, but we will suffer. We have seen that we all have the biological clock, which is controlled by our hypothalamus. As per this biological clock, there are several functions which are set in different parts of this biological clock. For example, the melatonin production starts by the sunset, and the melatonin production abruptly stops by the fall of morning sunlight, and the testosterone production starts. And but we might see that, we can see that some people, they exercise after the sunset, which is not a good idea. And the Ayurveda says disruption of the biological clock is considered as a cause of several diseases, including anxiety, depression, gastroesophageal reflux, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and so many other diseases are related to the disruption of the biological clock. Exercise. And exercise eases anxiety and depression. And because the exercise done on the daytime, it will increase the relaxing hormones in the body. At the same time, we need to keep it in mind that one should exercise only up to their half stamina. And in seasons like summer season, exercise should be reduced to the minimum possible. And again, the selection of the exercise can be based on their body types also. A Vata body type might require only mild exercise. A Pitta body type can go for a moderate exercise, while a Kapha body type can have intense workouts. Keep it in mind that late evening exercise may alter the melatonin levels, and it can adversely affect conditions of anxiety. Of course, mental health is very much related with the digestion and the food. And we know that the enteric nervous system, it has around 100 million neurons and around 30 different neurotransmitters which are being secreted in the enteric nervous system. And look at the diet for anxiety and depression. Ideally, the food should contain all the 6 tastes, but a person having anxiety and depression ideally should eat more of sweet or mathura rasas, like more of complex carbohydrates, rice, wheat, vegetables, ghee, honey, etc. And you can see that among the 6 tastes, sweet, sour, and salty, they balance Vata. Sweet, bitter, and astringent, they balance Pitta. And spicy, bitter, and astringent will balance kapha. While vata pitta balancing, there is only one taste, which is a sweet taste. So for anxiety disorders, mathura rasa pradhanya aharas should be used. While in cases of depression, which is a vata kapha condition, there is no single taste which can balance both vata kapha. Here, virya should be the tool of approach. Now look at the pathyas which are mentioned in conditions of anxiety and depression, like pomegranate, grapes, barley, red rice, moong dal, the green gram, coconut, wheat, shigru or moringa or drumstick, snake gourd, ash gourd, milk, ghee. These are all pathyas for anxiety and depression. These foods should be favored in the diet. And of course, night sleep, it requires a special mention here. And we studied that nidrayatam, sukham, dukkham, pushti, karsyam, bala, abalam. So all these are depending on the proper quality of the night sleep. A vata body type might not require 8 hours of sleep, while a kapha person might require long hours of sleep. And Ayurveda consider nidra or the sleep or the night sleep and the sexual health as 3 important pillars of life. That is aharam, nidra, abrahmacharyam, as mentioned by Vagpada. The problems of sexual functioning and sexual myths and misconceptions are commonly seen in cases of anxiety and depression. Now look at the treatment approach. We have mentioned that Ayurveda has 3 approaches to treat anxiety and depression. And depression has to be treated as a vata kapha imbalance, while anxiety has to be treated as a vata pitta imbalance. Ayurveda offers many different single herbs for the psychiatric conditions and depression and anxiety. Like for example, Brahmi, Shangapushpi, Yashtimathu, Jyotishmadi, Rasonam, Shadavari, all these are excellent single herbs. But one need to understand that Brahmi is Vata Pitta balancing, or Vaja is Vata Kapha balancing, or Rasonam is Vata Kapha balancing. This differentiation need to be kept in mind. So the Rasam, Viryam, Gunam has to be understood clearly before we making a soup of all these dravyas. Now there are some preparations too. For example, you take Ashwagandharishtam or Saraswatarishtam and Mahakalyanaka Kridam, Kalyanaka Kridam, Brahmi Kridam, Phalasarpis. All these are excellent medicines which can be administered in cases of anxiety and depression. Here also it is very important to understand the quality of each of them. For example, Kalyanagam or Mahakalyanagam, they are mostly Tridosha balancing in nature, while Vidaryadi may be Vada Pitta balancing. Drakshadi may be Pitta Vada balancing. Look at another combination, which is the Brahmi Drakshadi, an excellent combination, which is Brahmi is generally Vata Kapha balancing, while the combination, it works more like a Vata Pitta balancing combination. And the Anubana also has to be kept in mind. Several times, the tablets like Manasamitra Guliga, it is administered together with milk, or it can be powdered and mixed with ghees like Kalyanagam or Mahakalyanagam or Brahmi Kridam, and it can be given together with that. And the way of giving Saraswatarishtam need to be kept in mind. Usually it has to be ideally mixed with milk and to be administered. Now, oil therapies are very useful for anxiety and stress conditions, like therapies like Abhyangam, Shirodhara, Shirovasti, Tailadhara, Takradhara, Talapudichil. All these are very effective for anxiety and depression conditions. See, some simple, Talapudichil procedures you can do back at home. For example, simply take amla powder or the whole amla, dried amla. take 250 grams, soak it in a liter of buttermilk, and the next day morning you can grind it into a paste, and this paste can be applied on the scalp, and it can be wrapped around and can be kept for 45 minutes or 60 minutes time, and after an Shiro Abhyangam. And of course, these kind of therapies, they are very effective in conditions like anxiety disorders. Keep it in mind that anxiety has to be treated as Vata Pitta balancing, while depression has to be treated as Vata Kapha balancing in nature. Now, choosing the right oil, this is also very important. For Vata, you need to use the warm and nourishing kinds of oils, that is Ushna Brahmanam. And for Pitta, it can be Shida Viryam. And for Kapha, it can be Ushna Viryam. And for daily use, Anushna Shida kinds of oils can be used. When you're looking at the different types of oils, for example, you take Chandanadi Dailam. See, actually, in Kerala, most of the households, they know few medicines. And for example, Thanundaran Guliga for the gas and bloating of the stomach. Same way, another combination is this Chandanadi Dailam. Anybody having a sleep disturbance, any Keralite will suggest, go and apply the Chandanadi Dailam. Can I see the slide? And look at the other oils like Asanamanjishtadi, Balashugandhadi, Balaguluchyadi, Shirabala, Narayana Thailam. These are all Shidavirya in nature. While the other types of oils like the Karpasastyadi or the Prasarinyadi, they are warm and nourishing in oil, more of Vata balancing in nature. And Panchakarma, it's very important. And according to the dosha imbalances, the suitable Panchakarma treatment can be selected. For Vata, it can be the Vasti treatment. For Pitta, it can be the Virejanam. And for Kapha, emesis or therapy are more excellent. And I administer the purgation therapy and Nasya therapy in my anxiety patients with good results, and in depression cases also. And as the benefits of the Panchakarma therapy, or as the benefits of Shodhana therapy, Ayurveda says, Buddhi prasadam balam indriyana. These are the first two benefits, which are indicated as the benefits of a Shodhana therapy. And the Nasya treatment and Thumabana treatment might have a special effects on the anxiety and depression. And as a simple purgative procedure, one can use 15 grams of Avipati Churnam or Trivit Lehyam mixed with a little bit of honey and water. It can be used for a cleansing. Psychotherapy and the spiritual therapy, I have mentioned it previously. And there are different techniques which are being used in the Satvavajaya Chikitsa, like Vitmapanam, Shobhanam, elevate the spirit. So replacing the undesirable emotions and giving more assurances and psychological shocks. These all comes in the psychotherapy and the spiritual therapy. And Ayurveda suggests several Methi Rasayanas, which has special properties to improve the memory and intellect in a person. Like Manduga Parni, I have mentioned the Viryas there. I'm unable to read the slide, as they are little far from me. But you can see the slides that Manduka Parni is Kapha Pitta balancing. Eshti Madhu is Vata Pitta balancing. Brahmi is Vata Pitta balancing. While Vacha is Kapha Vata balancing. And Ashwagandha is Vata Kapha balancing. So the property and the dosha shamana property, their guna and virya has to be kept in mind when you are choosing the right Methi Rasayanas. Let me thank you here. Nice talking to you. If you have any questions, we can discuss it. Otherwise, you can post it in the group. Otherwise, we can wind up for today. Any So several times, I cannot see the screen. Even the presentation, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see anything. Yeah, now I can see. Being in COVID-19 tension have led me to some level of depression due to some investments I got into painting. I can't sleep properly, eat freely, and smoking has increased. Is there some way to avoid my whole mindset? See, as I mentioned, previously, getting quality sleep can help in improving the anxiety and depression conditions. At the same time, most of the causes of insomnia or the sleep disturbance is also due to anxiety and depression. So it's like a vicious circle. Sleep disturbance can increase your anxiety and depression, and anxiety and depression might cause sleep disturbances. So for improving the sleep, just keep few things in mind. Intake of milk, yogurt, and meat soups can help in improving the sleep. And one can simply apply sesame oil or coconut oil on their feet or on the earlobe or on the scalp before taking a shower. And make sure that you don't exercise after sunset. Drinking a glass of milk at bedtime can help. If this is not helping, you should consult, a nearby Ayurvedic doctor who can suggest some medicines for you. See, several people, the Ayurvedic doctors, might think that whether this anxiety and depression, whether it is due to the acts of gods or rakshasas, as mentioned in the Ayurvedic textbooks. But Charaka, here gives a very clear reply. It says, Naiva Deva, na Gandharva, na Pishaja, na Rashasaha, na cha Anye. So that means, neither gods, nor Gandharvas, nor Pishajas, nor Rakshasas afflict a person who himself is free of misdeeds. The primary cause of mental health problems or the primary cause of Unmada is mentioned as the consequences of one's own misdeeds, and it is not other agents like Deva or Gandharva or Pishacha. Can we wind up for today? Any herbal tea to ensure good sleep? See, I have also read online that certain teas help in improving the sleep, like the chamomile tea and all, but I haven't tried it in my experience. But Ayurveda gives a lot of medication in such conditions, like Ayurvedic herbal teas. You can consult any Ayurvedic doctor and get a recommendation for these Ayurvedic kadas or the kashayas. And keep it in mind that this is the summer time, the Grishma Ritu. In the Grishma Ritu, generally Vata Pitta imbalances will be more. Vata Pitta imbalances will be more in summer Ritu. So therefore, one should take very special care. So in summer season, it is recommended that one should favor more sweet taste, and one should avoid ado asmin padu kadu amla vyayama arkagaram tejet. That means in the summertime, one should avoid spicy taste, salty taste, sour taste, and they should reduce exercise to the least possible in the summertime. And one should eat more natural sweets like fruits, grains, etc. Another question was about the postmenopausal depression and how to treat. Again, it is treated as a Vata Paitiga conditions several times, because the postmenopausal symptoms associated with hot flashes, sweating, irritability, palpitations, these are all classical examples of Vata Pitta imbalances. Simple things can help you. For example, intake of asparagus. Now, in over the counter also, you can buy the Shadavari in capsule form. Taking Shadavari, unless you have any other health problems, it is safe to take. Otherwise, there are medicines like Drakshadi Kashayam, where the main ingredient is the dried raisins, can be taken on a daily basis. Manasamitra Vadaga has wide indications. The ingredients of Manasamitra Vadagam is very interesting. It contains gold, it contains silver, it contains pearl, it contains coral, and excellent medicine for relaxing the mind. And one can take Manasamitra Vadagam as prescribed by a doctor, of course. Ideally to be taken together with warm milk, powdered and mixed with warm milk, or it can be mixed with ghee like Kalyanagam or Mahakalyanagam, or with normal ghee. Thank you very much. Enjoyed talking to you. Today, I had some issues, with, as it was the first time, we were doing it from the studio. Hope, we will correct these issues and come up with a better presentation next time with another topic. See you again. Thank you. Namaste.